It hasn't been long since Eversolo burst onto the audio scene, shaking things up with the goal of giving music lovers high-end features at prices that don't break the bank. They've really sparked a shift in the world of music streaming, with other brands jumping on board to create streamers that boast big, beautiful screens and top-notch components. The Eversolo A6, A6 Master Edition, and A8 have become super popular, and after checking them out earlier this year, we totally get why. Their build quality and performance are seriously impressive for the price. But Eversolo hasn't stopped there. They've been busy behind the scenes crafting something even more powerful that takes things up a notch from the A8. So let's dive into the new Eversolo DMP-A10, their flagship streamer, DAC, and preamp that's set to shake things up once again, but this time at a higher level. Now, the first thing that you'll notice about the A10 is its new design. It's slightly bigger than the previous A8, coming in around 17 inches wide, 12 inches deep, and 4.6 inches tall. It also steps things up with a finely crafted CNC machined aluminum chassis, complete with metal fins on the sides that help with passive cooling. Now, it just feels more solid too, weighing in at almost 16 pounds compared to the A8's 11. I personally like the look of the new fins. They give it a cool, modern look, but if you were a fan of the A8's simple black box vibe, this new design might take some getting used to. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this new look that Eversolo has come up with, so leave a comment down below and let us know if you dig it or if you prefer the standard look of the A8. Okay, so looking at the front panel, you'll spot some more upgrades. First off, there's a dedicated power button on the left side now, probably because the new volume knob has been revamped with a built-in screen. Now, you don't see this feature on other products too often, and Eversolo's version is super cool. The circular screen on the knob can display the volume or even the artwork and can be customized to different themes. Now, of course, this feature is really just for looks and it's not going to improve your sound, but it definitely makes the A10 easier to use and gives it a sleek, futuristic vibe. Plus, the bright and gorgeous screen on here has added a 1/2 inch to it, which upgrades it to an easier to read 6.5 inch touchscreen. Now, in our full review of the other Eversolo units, we absolutely raved about how responsive and detailed these screens are, and the A10 is no exception. It's super fast and super smooth to navigate on it. Now, you can control everything, your music, streaming services, settings, and more right from the front touchscreen or through their well-organized and really quick and snappy app. Now, you can also set favorites, customize the home screen, and tweak how you want the album art to appear while your music plays. Eversolo really just nailed it with these screens, and we can't stress that enough. Now, with the larger center touchscreen paired with the new screen on the volume knob, you'll have all the info you need right at a quick glance. Now, one really unique feature of the Eversolo units is the ability to cast the screen from your Eversolo directly onto your phone. The Screencast feature pulls up a direct screencast of what is on your screen and is completely interactive. Now, what we found the Screencast most useful for was third-party apps. Since the third-party apps are not accessible on the Eversolo phone app, you can easily just mirror the screen, open the third-party app, and have complete control of your music that way. It's a really clever workaround that we found works pretty good. In the Eversolo app itself, it's just blazing fast and has all the features that you should need. It's really easy to navigate, allows you to sign in and stream your music from your favorite music platform right in the app, so you don't have to go switching to different apps, and it even has a universal music search feature to find all the songs you want across various streaming services. Now, we pretty much always use the app exclusively when we tested all the Eversolo units, as it just seemed to be the easiest way to navigate and control everything. However, Eversolo does include a new refined remote that feels and looks pretty darn nice if you prefer to control it that way instead of always having to pull your phone out of your pocket. Now, when you spin it around and check out the back of the A10, it looks pretty similar to the A8. You still get all the essentials: an Ethernet port, balanced XLR inputs, RCA inputs, HDMI eARC, 2 coax inputs, 1 USB-B input, 2 USB-As, and 2 Toslink inputs. For outputs, you got balanced XLRs, RCAs, 1 coax, 1 Toslink, and 1 USB-A port. You'll also have trigger in and out ports and a new SFP fiber port, allowing you to connect your network via fiber when you purchase an additional SFP module. Now, Now this is typically seen in higher end gear and allows you to have cleaner audio without electrical connection between the network switch and the device itself. But the upgrade that we were really excited to see was the addition of 2 dedicated subwoofer outs. This lets you hook up 2 subs directly to the A10 and control them in the interface or the app, delivering deep, balanced bass for your stereo or home theater setup. You have the ability to set the sub level, crossover frequency, and polarity for the subs, which applies to both of them. However, you can choose whether you want stereo mode, where it will cross over one sub with the left speaker and one with the right. You'll see many 2-channel purists do it this way when they have their subs right next to the left and right speakers. Now, if you have 1 sub or 2 subs that are in the corners of your room or other locations, you will instead want to choose mixer mode, which will mix the right and left to give you the same feed to both subwoofers. Now we tested the subwoofer outs pretty extensively with 2 KEF subwoofers, and let us say it just worked flawlessly. Now in addition to that dual sub capability, the A10 also comes with its own room correction. Almost any room will have frequency peaks due to its shape and how the sound waves interact, which can really affect how your music sounds. That's why we love systems that come with automated room correction. You usually see this in high performance home theater gear, but Eversolo has brought room correction technology right to this A10, allowing it to automatically adjust the sound to reduce unwanted peaks and nulls created by the room. Now, using the included mic or your own or the microphone on your iPhone, you can easily run the correction and it'll do all the work for you. We tested it and we found that it definitely improved the sound in less than perfect rooms. Now, using a phone, you can get a pretty good correction curve, but when you're using a dedicated mic, it gets you much better results, so we recommend going that route with an external microphone. Now, it's not as powerful as, say, something like Direct Live with bass control that you can see on many higher-end streamer units like the NADM66, but it works well and can be easily turned on and off. Plus, there are even some tweaks that you can do to the automated correction in this A10 that we cover in our tips and tricks guide that we send to anyone who purchases their Eversolo unit from Audio Advice. Now, for those of you who want to fine-tune things manually instead of relying on the auto adjustments, the A10 still gives you full control with a parametric EQ. You can target specific frequencies like 37 Hz or 121 Hz and adjust how steep or wide the correction is. Plus, you get access to FIR filters, high pass and low pass filters, bass boost, a compressor, and delay control, so you can geek out as much as you want. Now, the HDMI ARC connection allows you to connect this right to your TV system too. Now, we want to note here that there is no HDMI I2S like there was on the A8 and no HDMI DSD audio output port either. However, Eversolo concluded that for the vast majority of people, these would have been unused features that would add to the cost of the device anyways. All right, let's move on to the inside of this A10, which has some pretty impressive features. First off, the Eversolo has designed the interior to separate noise and interference from different boards and has even added shielding on the front panel to ensure the audio signal remains pure and undisturbed. Plus, it has dual independent linear power supplies. Now, this configuration consists of a toroidal transformer and a low noise linear power supply to separate the digital system from the analog audio circuits, which ultimately helps eliminate interference and distortion. Now, anyone who's into audio knows that a good power supply can make absolutely a huge difference. Better ones generate less noise and give stronger support to all of the rest of the components. Now, we were really interested to see what DAC Eversolo decided to put in the A10, and they went with the extremely powerful ESS ES9039 Pro instead of the 2 AKM DACs found in the A8. Now, we were big fans of that velvet sound that came from the A8, so we were a little surprised to see them change it up. However, when you look at the raw parts cost, the new ESS Sabre DAC is a great upgrade and comes in at almost twice the price. But what really matters is how it sounds, which we will get to shortly. Now, keep in mind here that if you already have a better DAC without streaming capabilities, you can still attach the A10 with any of its digital outs. In fact, they've even incorporated an advanced electrical isolation circuit to reduce interference from high noise power sources and grounding loop issues when you connect up an external DAC or USB device. Now, if you're interested to learn how that works a little bit further, check out our full article at the link in the description below. Now, this A10 supports high-res audio up to 32-bit PCM at 768 kHz and DSD-512. Plus, it supports nearly all of the file formats you should need and gives you access to virtually all of the popular streaming platforms like Qobuz, Deezer, Tidal, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. You can also use Spotify Connect and Tidal Connect. Now, since we were working with Eversolo testing this device before the units were released, it had not quite yet been made room ready, but it probably will be by the time the vast majority of you see this video or get one of these in in your hands. Now, if it's important to you, check out the Eversolo A10 page on audioadvice.com, where we will keep it updated, or just give us a call or chat with our team at audioadvice.com. Now, these units will also be in limited supply, so if you know you want to be among the first to get your hands on one of these new A10s, you can pre-order yours right now at audioadvice.com, where we have free shipping, lifetime expert support, and a price guarantee. Plus, we've created a great setup tips and tricks guide for Eversolo that we send to all of our Audio Advice customers, like I mentioned before, so you can be sure that your unit is set up and optimized to sound the absolute best. Okay, moving on. The A10 also runs on Eversolo's patented EOS operating system, or the Eversolo Original Sampling Rate Audio Engine, that bypasses Android's SRC limitations to ensure the original sample rate output from any of the music apps for perfectly accurate playback. Now, the A10 is also capable of Bluetooth 5.0, can rip and play CDs using an external CD drive, play music from a USB drive, and has 64 gigabytes of internal storage. Now, you can easily rip CDs and store them directly on the unit, and if you wish to have more storage, you can install SSDs underneath the unit to have up to 4 terabytes of total storage. Plus, you can even use this unit as a server to access all your files anywhere you want to play them in your house. Okay, now the A10 also gets a cool upgrade in the clock department with a custom developed temperature controlled technology for the OCXO clock system. OCXO stands for Oven Controlled Crystal Oscillator, and it keeps the temperature constant and stable regardless of external temperature changes. It's considered the best performing quartz crystal oscillator out there. Having a stable temperature helps eliminate any frequency fluctuations for less noise and low jitter. This is a step up from the previous clocks in their previous products, and these ones even undergo a rigorous testing process from Eversolo themselves to be sure they perform to the highest of standards. But why does this even matter? Because even the smallest drift in a clock signal can cause tiny timing errors between samples, which ultimately impacts the audio quality. The more accurate the timing, the more alive and true to life your music will sound, as if you're right there in the middle of a live performance. Now, in addition, just like the A8, the level adjustment is R2R based. The fully balanced preamp in the A10 is really well made, with precision resistors and relays to ensure precise volume control, allowing you to use it as a true analog preamp in your system. In fact, we actually expect many people will replace their preamp with the A10, which allows you to choose music from your phone and control volume seamlessly without having to use a separate remote control. Okay, so we've gone over most of the major features and technology of the new A10, so let's finally talk about the performance. We tested the A10 with Parasound JC1 Plus monoblock amps with KEF Reference 1 Meta bookshelves and KEF R11 Meta towers. This setup is extremely revealing and previously had an expensive streamer connected to it, so it allowed us to really evaluate the A10 sonically, particularly compared to the more expensive streamer solution. From a pure specification standpoint, you'd expect the A10 to shine, and boy, it really does. We set it up, ran room calibration, and then tweaked it until we felt it was really dialed in. Then we decided to run a host of listening tests. And I have to say, this A10 proved to be pretty incredible. Listening to tracks from different genres of music, like the song The Birth of a Band by Quincy Jones or the song Starboy by The Weeknd, every song just proved that the A10 really has some serious chops. No matter what we played, the A10 just sounded phenomenal and proved that the ESS DAC inside was really musical and enjoyable to listen to all day long. I could go on and on here, but in short, the A10 just rocks. If you have the budget and are looking for a streamer preamp, we're pretty sure you will not be disappointed in the A10 at this price point. Now, we tested the A10 with a few other amps and different speakers, and it did really well no matter what we paired it up with, but for fun, we decided to pair it up with a much less expensive powered bookshelf speaker setup to simulate a situation where you have a limited budget, and you want to put the vast majority into a great streamer or preamp, and you're looking to upgrade to better amps and speakers later on. Now, as you might expect, the A10 made these speakers come alive in a way that we had not previously heard. So we believe the A10 could turn out to not only be a great streamer upgrade for people, but also the start of a much better system over time. Alright, plus, depending on when you're watching this video, there will be a matching amp coming from Eversolo called the Amp F10, which will be out very soon, and it's going to be a perfect match when it comes to aesthetics. Now, this is a completely redesigned amp from their previous F2. This F10 amp was built from the ground up by Eversolo themselves. It's going to feature about 200 watts per channel and up to 650 watts in bridged mode. Now, we're going to have one of these very soon to review and put it to the test and let you know how it performs, so make make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell turned on so you don't miss out on that video when it drops. Now, I will note here that Amp F10 will probably perform pretty well, but we'll let you know when we get our hands on one. And there are other great amps that you can pair it up with right now that we may recommend over it. So always feel free to call or chat with our team at audioadvice.com to see if waiting for that one is for you, or maybe you want to go a different route, which would be better in the long run. Okay, so many Eversolo fans are already sold on Eversolo, and they likely want to know how we feel the A10 stacks up against the A6, A6 Master Edition, and the A8. First of all, if you will be using it as a streamer only without leveraging the DAC and the preamp inside, it's likely not worth the upgrade for you. However, if you are really into great sound and have the budget, we do believe this is a worthy upgrade. You will get upgraded clocks, power supply, dual subs, and room correction, along with overall sonic improvement. And if you're still unsure about an upgrade or if this is the right choice for you, just again, contact our experts at audioadvice.com or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms and we'd be happy to help you out. Plus, please check out the playlist section on our channel and our content library on our website to find out more videos and articles about more streamers and audio video gear. Now, if you have further questions about this A10, you can also just pop them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to try to answer them as fast as I can. Or if you think people should be looking further up the market to something, say, like the NADM66 or another streamer, let us know what you think about that as well. And to continue supporting us and making exclusive content like this, please give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any of our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.